Hey guys, it's me, Mario, and today we're going to continue Equinus, the spirit horse, with Chapter 7, Terror in the Trees. How you guys doing today? Hope you're doing well. And let's read Chapter 7, Terror in the Trees. Tom's heart pounded fiercely in his chest. But he breathed a sigh of relief as he saw that Elenna was gripping the tree trunk tightly with her legs. She had let go with her hands so she could pull an arrow and a rope from her quiver. "I've got an idea," she told him quickly. "It'll keep us both safe." She tied the rope to the feathered end of the arrow. Tom was impressed as he watched Elenna manage to tie a knot while the dreadful wind fiercely shook the tree. "I'm going to shoot this arrow deep into the that branch," she said, pointing up to a thick, sturdy limb. "Hopefully it will hold firm, and then we can tie ourselves to the rope. That way we won't fall." "Brilliant plan!" exclaimed Tom. Elenna pulled the arrow string back and aimed the arrow at the top of the tree. The arrow shot upwards, and her aim was true. Tom gave the dangling rope a hard yank. "It's holding," he said. "Well done, Elenna." He tied a loop of the rope around his waist and handed the end to his friend so that she could do the same. Here's Tom doing that. The shrieking wind was so strong now that it seemed to snatch the breath out of Tom's mouth as he pulled himself up the tree. Elenna was right behind him, and then Tom saw a patch of bark that looked different from the rest of the tree. It was uneven and protruding. "There!" he shouted to Elenna. "This bit's been pulled away and then rammed back in." "Peel it off, Tom," she said eagerly. Bracing himself against the wind, he worked at the bark with his fingertips. "It's coming away," he yelled. The bark broke off and tumbled to the ground far below. Tom peered inside the hole. There, glowing brightly within the decaying tree, was a jagged piece of gold inset with blue enamel. "It's a second piece of amulet!" cried Tom in triumph. He gently put his hand into the hole and picked it up. It seemed to shine even more brightly in his grasp. Although the wind threatened to plug it away, Tom showed his precious discovery to Elenna before putting it safely in his tunic pocket. "Let's get down," Elenna said, untying the rope from their waists. They held on to the end as they bounced down the trunk in huge bounces. huge bounds. Back to the firm, dusty jungle floor, Tom then used his super strength to pull the rope, and the firmly embedded arrowhead fell to the ground. Elenna tied the rope again. Elenna tied the rope back around her waist. "Right, let's get going," she said. Right, let's get going, she said. We finished one part of our quest, but we still have a ghost beast to find. Here's them packing up their things before finding Equinus. Before they had the chance to move on, they heard a terrible creak behind them, and then the sound of fracturing wood. They both looked up and saw the massive tree that they'd just climbed tumbling towards them. "Watch out!" yelled Tom. They dived out of the way just as the tree hit the ground, missing them by hair's breadth. Missing them by hairs. The wind gusted madly around them for a moment end. With a final howl of fury, blew away. The jungle was suddenly silent again. "Looks like Marvel has given up," Tom said with a grin. As he and his friend staggered to their feet, Tom reached into his pocket for the piece of amulet. Then he took hold of the leather cord around his neck, on which the first piece hung, and fitted the second piece to it. Elenna touched his hand. "What's that on the surface?" she asked, pointing at the silver disc. There were faint lines scored into the metal. What do you think they mean?" Tom shook his head. "I don't know," he said. "It's one mystery that will have to wait. First, we must track down Equinus and hope we're in time to save Storm. We need to head further into the rainforest, though," said Elenna, peering through the tightly packed trees. Tom heard a faint sound from far away. He and Elenna froze in their tracks and listened hard. Something large and powerful was plunging towards them through the branches and creepers of the dense jungle. "Equinus," whispered Elenna. Tom nodded. "He's found us." With a roar, the huge ghost beast burst out from the trees, his black heart thumping in his transparent chest. Tom and Elenna watched with horrified fascination as Equinus switched from his ghostly form to flesh and bone, before turning back again with a cold shimmer. The beast whipped his tail furiously and stumped his hooves, churning up the dust all around him. The bones in his skeletal face stood out, sharp as knives. His evil eyes blazed hatefully at Tom, and he charged straight at them. And that was chapter 7. Here's the image of Equinus charging straight at Tom and Elenna. Terrifying, isn't it? I'm looking over there because that is where the screen is, and right here is the camera, so sorry about that. So yeah, that was Terror in the Trees. And next Thursday, I will be reading Double Trouble. Yeah. Hope you like, subscribe, and hit the bell if you guys are interested in more Beast Quest videos. But yeah. Glad they found that piece. I'm glad Tom came up with the idea to tie themselves onto the tree before climbing further up. Because it would be a shame if they fell. Yeah. The situations they get in are crazy. Right. Hope you like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more Beast Quest. And maybe another dragon from the Great Dragon Book? I have it ready. I just have to write the bio for it, so get ready for that. I think I'm gonna upload it next to the next chapter of Beast Quest. Hope you're excited for that. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.